What is going on, YouTube people? Neo here for another NBA market video. We did one of these last week where I kind of talked about that I thought the NBA market may have hit the bottom, at least for the most part, for a lot of stuff. And I'm doubling down on that. I feel like your window to buy ultra modern NBA at basement prices is closing rapidly, in my opinion. Maybe I'm right, maybe I'm wrong. As always, do your own research, do your own homework, dig into stuff on your own, make a call. But the call I'm making personally is I believe now is the time to pounce on a lot of this stuff. We're going to go through a bunch of different players, a bunch of different examples, a bunch of different cards, but I think now's the time to pull the trigger. And in some cases, we've already missed the window. Briefly going to touch on Giannis stuff too. I think we'll have a better idea what his stuff looks like, probably like on the Sunday morning video. But I wanted to at least touch on his stuff because they went absolutely, his prices went nuts just in the short time right after the title and kind of what's going on there. So, but smash the like button. Subscribe if you haven't. We're about 400 away from 10,000 subscribers. I'm on pace to hit it like sometime next month-ish. Gets a little weird sometimes, but it would be really cool to hit it at the National. I don't know that it can happen. I think it's a little aggressive on my part, but it would just be really cool if I could hit 10K while I was at the National or something like that. Maybe some of the National content will give a little bump and push it over the edge. But if you're not subscribed, think about it. Hit the sub button. With all that being said, let's go ahead and dive in. Market movers today, obviously, for all of our charts and graphs, which I just love to talk about. And you can find the link to that down below in the description box with the 20% coupon code to save some money if you want charts and graphs all your own. And we love charts and graphs around here. So let's go ahead and dig in, shall we? Start with Giannis just really quick. His hoops, his prism, and his select, all in PSA 10, obviously have seen massive increases the last 24 hours. I am recording this Wednesday evening. Prism up 40%, select up 44%, hoops up 20. But I don't want to say I'm not buying these numbers because these are just the sales that happened right after the game. We will have a clearer picture over the next couple days. I think this is going to be one of those cases where kind of what we've seen with Ohtani to a lesser extent, there's going to be big price increases. They're going to spike up. And then there's going to be a pullback, and it's going to level out at a new floor higher than the previous floor, kind of like we see all the time. The interesting case with Giannis compared to the other players, and I've seen this talked about a few different places, is that he did not have the run-up prior to winning. It was like kind of baked in, if that makes sense. AD, LeBron, all that stuff, they were expected to win the title. Giannis, it was really up in the air until about game 5 for a lot of people. So he did not see a big run up in prices. In fact, the stuff was actually pulling back up until just a couple days ago. And now it went to the moon. His PSA 10 Prism was right around 2K prior to the game. It was closing last night. One went for almost 3K, 2.9. I'll be curious to see where it shakes out at after the next couple of days. There's a bunch of PWCC auctions ending on Wednesday nights. There'll be a bunch of other stuff that sells. So once again, we will check back in on his market, but I wanted to briefly touch on it. And I'll also be curious to see like how far Devin Booker dips, all that sort of stuff. But Giannis, 26 years old, as crazy as that sounds, it feels like he's been in the league forever. He's only 26. He has 2 MVPs, a Defensive Player of the Year award, a Finals MVP, and a ring now. I don't know what else the guy needs to do. Talked about Giannis a lot on the channel. At various times, I've recommended buying his stuff because I felt like he's a superstar and a potential face of the league. Some people agree. A lot of people, there's definitely an anti-Giannis crowd out there. He won it. That's it. It's over. He has the ring. So we'll see what happens with his prices going forward. But like I said, if you're looking to buy Giannis, I would probably hold off for a couple weeks. Let it spike, let the market cool down again on him, and then kind of reset itself. And you missed your window to get in cheap. So it kind of is what it is. I briefly, at multiple times, I have a BGS 9.5. I almost let it go multiple times during the playoffs. I had a strong offer to sell it for close to eBay comps at a couple card shows that I came very close to pulling the trigger on. We could not agree on a price. We were like $50 to $75 off. And I was actively trying to trade it at the last Hartville show for a BGS 9.5 straight up for a KD Topps Chrome PSA 9. And the dealer, who I know did not want to do it because he was worried. That was back, I forget what series that was. Maybe before that, during the final game of the Nets series. Don't remember. But regardless, the dealer was worried about the downside risk of the Giannis card because he thought they were going to lose. So, you win some, you lose some. I got a little lucky on that one. We will see what happens. I almost sold it again on Friday online for, we were going around on a price, couldn't agree. So I just ended up holding it. So I'm just going to ride it out. I think that card, it's just a base prism, but it's BGS 9.5 with 210 upgrades. I'm just going to hold it and ride it. I don't know if he's going to win another one. We'll see. But 26 years old, he's got a long way to go in his NBA career. So, all right, let's get into the down and dirty here. We're going to swing back and talk about LeBron again. And once again, so, the case last week is that the market is flat. We've reached the bottom. We are starting to see upticks on multiple players now, where in some cases to buy at the bottom, your window has closed, in my opinion. Some stuff has not started to move yet, but the fact that things are makes me think that it's starting to pick up. Maybe it's a false narrative because it's right before the National. People are buying up inventory. I don't know. We'll see what happens. It could all nosedive again for all I know. But I'm of the opinion that it's time to start buying basketball. And that's what I'm turning my attention to. I've been buying a lot of baseball lately. I'm starting to switch my sights over to basketball stuff. LeBron, obviously his PSA 10 Topps Chrome. This has been a much talked about card on this channel and elsewhere. Spiked all the way back up to 21K from a low of 13. It is currently sitting at around 17 for the last couple sales. Once again, Wednesday night, there's a bunch of PWCC auctions ending tonight. There's also one, and you probably already saw the link in the community post. I'll probably post one after recording this video. But I'll be curious to see, you guys will know tomorrow morning. There was a LeBron Refractor PSA 10 auctioning off tonight on PWCC. It is currently at its last sale price. It last sold for 75K. This one's at 75K with about 6 or 7 hours left on it. So I'll be curious to see how high that goes above previous sale on that one. But it looks like the LeBron Topps Chrome market is kind of settling in right around sub 20K. And some of the other stuff has moved to catch up. If we come down here, and I'm running this chart from when Gary Vee essentially gave him a little pump. 17.6, 4.4 on the BGS, or I'm sorry, PSA 9, 6K on the 9.5. And actually, I did not catch this, and 8 sold for 2,600. So 35% increase, 27% increase, 28% increase. And then the last BGS 9.5 sale was down a little bit, but it might have had bad subgrades. That's where it gets weird comping BGS 9.5s, because the True Gems and the True Gem Pluses will sell for a little bit more. But you do see the little dip there on the orange line. That's the BGS 9.5. The prior one to that was 7.5. I feel like the more true BGS 9.5 comp is probably between 6.5 and 7K, to be quite honest with you. So we'll see where the next one closes at. I don't remember if there was 9.5s in PWCC tonight, but LeBron clearly already moved. That was Gary Vee enhanced. Let's look at some other stuff. Here is Luka Silver, PSA 10, PSA 9. This is the last 90 days on this bad boy, I believe. Yes, last 90 days. There's one outlier sale here on a 9, so I am not counting that one. Let me back this up a few days just to catch that one off. There we go. So over the last 90 days or so, his PSA 9 is down 36% and his PSA 10 is down 47%. But as we've talked about, it's really kind of leveled off the last 30 days or so. If I change this and move it to about the last 30 days and rerun it and come down here, we only see 12% drops. And then if I run it back even further, or I'm sorry, like if I just go from July 1st 3% drops, 4% drops. To me, this says that we've reached the bottom of this, and I think it's going to start upturning. Luka's stuff has not started to move yet. Some stuff's creeping. Hasn't yet, but there also hasn't been a 10 sale. The last 10 sold on 7/14 for $4,200. It's the 21st when I'm recording this. There are at least two auctions ending tonight. Once again, you guys will have this data. I don't have it yet. That are already at the last comp at 4,200. So I assume they're going to end higher. So this is about to jump up. We'll see how high. I'll be curious to keep an eye on those as the night wanes on. Trae Young, PSA 10, PSA 9. Now his was a little bit weirder because he was playing deeper into the playoffs and then he took a steeper dip, but it looks like he's leveled off a little bit faster. Same thing. If we look at his 90-day, his 10 is down 25%. His 10 is down 40%. His 9 is down 25%. If we look at the last 30 days, it gets a little better. His 9 is actually up 7%. His 10 is down 20%. And then if we look at the last 14, once again, his stuff's a little stranger because he was in the playoffs a lot longer. His 9 is up 11% and his 10 is down only 2%. So over the last 2 weeks, this card has basically been flat, right around $1,100, $1,200. Once again, I think this stuff is about to start moving. 2 weeks of straight flatness tells me that I just don't think it's going to start creeping back down again. What is about to happen? We're going to have a little lull here. And then we're going to have, whether you think the National moves the market or not, the National is happening. At the same time the National is happening, the NBA draft is happening. And then we are full on transaction season. And the second these guys start switching teams, certain players are going to spike. It happens every single year. A team's going to make a big trade, whether it's on draft night or the beginnings of free agency, big free agent acquisitions, whatever. The snow globe is going to get shaken and prices are going to spike because of it. Let's look at, I'm going to skip ahead here for a second. Let me find it. You can already see it in Lillard's prices. The rumors and the smoke seems to be getting stronger that he is going to force his way out of town. I think he's probably, the only reason he's probably not doing it is because he's on the Olympic team and he just doesn't want to cause all that drama while he's over there. So my guess is that he's going to stay kind of quiet. And as soon as the Olympics are over, he is going to drop the, hey, I would like to be dealt. The question is he going to say, I only want to go to certain teams? Now, he's signed for 4 more years, so who knows? But maybe the Blazers do him a solid, whatever. His stuff's already started to tick up. If you look at this is his 90-day chart. Once again, over the last 90, he's actually up 10%. Most of that has happened in the last few days. This is his 30-day chart. He's up 60%. This card bottomed out at about $750 and is all the way back up to $1,200 now. So this one already took off and it's mostly trade spec. So if you wanted to get on the bottom of Lillard, you've already missed the window. Now, do I think it could spike again? Absolutely. It just depends on where he goes. I don't know who's in the running for him. I'm sure the Knicks are going to try for him. I'm sure the Heat are going to try for him. And I don't know if he's going to try to force his way somewhere. A lot of the teams that make sense do not have the cap room or do not have the trade assets to go get him. So I think the Blazers are going to be willing to work with him, but they're still going to want relatively fair market value for him. So it'll be very curious to see where he ends up, but I do fully believe that he gets traded. I think that relationship is over. If not, they're going to trade McCollum and other stuff to try to bring in another big time player to pair with him, which could also help his prices. But I honestly think he's just going to get traded. Let's look at Luka and Trae base prism, because this one's interesting. They're actually starting to move back up again. Once again, if you look at the 90-day charts, it's straight down. And then you kind of see about late June, July 1st, as I talked about last week, it kind of flattens out. Down 30%, down 20% on Luka and Trae base. I know base, it's a bad word now. When we look at the last 30 days, though, come back down 2% on Luka, 20% on Trae. Kind of makes sense. Trae went deeper in the playoffs. He had a little bit more room to go. His decline didn't start until later. But Luka's been out a lot sooner, and he's basically been flat the last 30 days. If I transition over to a 14-day, Luka up 5%, Trae up 3%. So starting to see movement on that. And yes, it's evil base. I know. Evil base. Base is bad. Base is always going to be viable. You're always going to be able to make money flipping base if you buy relatively towards the bottom. And base is still going to go up. It's just not going to go up like it did last year when Luka base prisms were almost 2K to over 2K for a brief spell there. But if you buy a Trae Young base for $250, I feel pretty confident that that card's going to go up between now and the start of the season. It's just not going to quadruple like it did before. Maybe it goes up $100, $200, and you could flip out of it pretty easily. There's always going to be a market for base because everyone's always starting somewhere. There's always people entering the market and new people, and just some collectors are still putting up their collection, moving off raw and PSA 9s into PSA 10s, and that's their next stepping stone. There's always going to be a place for this stuff. Just don't expect the astronomical highs that it got to in the past. That's all. Ja and Zion. Once again, this is Prism Silver's PSA 10. Last 90, down 30%, down 24%. 30 on Zion, 24 on Ja. If we switch this to 30 days, come back down here, Morant, 6% up, Zion, 3% down. Once again, going back to that late June, early July, it seems like the market's kind of flattened out. And you actually see here, Zion got all the way down to 2.5 in one rogue sale. Most of them have been around 3. And then it spiked right back up to 3 and 3.1. Ja's essentially been flat this entire time. So I just think if you're looking to make a move on these guys, now's the time. I keep saying it over and over again. Base Prism, Ja and Zion, same thing. 30-day, down 30% on Ja, 40% on Zion. All the way down to $389 now. Switch this to a 30-day chart. Ja actually up 10%. Not huge, but up. Zion only down 4%. The same trend continues. The last 30 days, the market has bottomed out and is staying flat. That means at any time, one of these guys could start to shoot off like we saw with Lillard. I just don't I think they're at their floor. They are at their floor pricing. The market has spoken and said these are the floor prices on these guys. If it wasn't, they would have kept going down. 2 weeks in this world seems like forever for prices to stay completely stagnant when they were dropping 10, 20, 30% a week. Continuing on. Optic. Tatum, Hollow. PSA 10. We've seen this now start to creep back up again. I personally missed the window on these. I know either Dustin or Steve grabbed a couple of these. I forget which one. This card bottomed all the way out at $635. Boy, did I miss the boat on that one. But you can see here it was at $830 back in May, and then dropped down to $700 to sub $600, and is now back up over $900 with a couple sales around $758. But back up over $9. Only popped $350 on this card. So only down 3% now over the last 90 days. If we just look at the last 30 days, it's up 22%. How about Donovan Mitchell? PSA 10 Optic Hollow. Once again, pop 300-ish on this one. You can see, once again, he was in the playoffs a little bit later. It took its nosedive, bottomed out at $400, and is still sitting around $400, $430. So his market's lagging a little bit more because he played later into the playoffs. So down 40% when you're looking at 90 days. But when I switch this to 30 days, only down 10%. And still kind of flattening out. But I could easily see this chart looking like this chart at any time. You know, do the Jazz do something to shake up the roster? Does Mitchell demand a trade? I don't think that happens, but there was that weirdness there at the end of the season with him. Just some random guys here to close. I like to call them guys that people just kind of forgot about. De'Aaron Fox. Optic Hollow, once again, PSA 10, only popped 200 on this. $360 card back in June is at $220 right now. Basically flatlined at about $200. Not the sexiest player, not the sexiest name. He gets hyped every year. At some point in time, he is probably going to demand a trade out of there, or the Kings are going to move him out of there. And if that happens, his stuff will go crazy. He is a very popular player. He's very trendy, but he's just been forgotten about. These are the guys, like these guys here, like Fox and the next guy we're going to talk about, and the guy after that have been completely forgotten about in the market. All the hype is on the current playoff guys and Ohtani, and everyone's talking about football. And no one's talking about when's the last time people were talking about Luka anymore, or De'Aaron Fox for that matter, or the next guy we're going to mention, Karl Anthony Towns. I like Towns a lot. He's stuck on the Timberwolves. They're kind of whatever. They have new ownership now. We'll see what they end up doing with that. But his stuff's pretty low pop. This is his base PSA 10 Prism. There's only 1,200 of them. This is another one that got all the way down to under $200. There's a couple sales here, 170. It spiked back up again to 235, but like all the stuff around $200. So over the last 90, he's down 15% from 275 to 236. I'm intrigued in his stuff. He had just like everything went wrong for him last year. The team sucked. He was in and out of COVID protocols. He had personal issues off the court with his family and COVID and deaths in the family and all that terrible stuff. And he just had a terrible season. I could easily see him rebounding. And he's another one, maybe not this year or next year. At some point in time, he's going to be like, hey, guys, get me the hell out of here if things don't turn around. And I've always really liked his talent. And for $200 for a base PSA 10 Prism of pop 1,200 all day, even low 200s, 225, sure, I'll take that risk. And last but not least, and he's still getting some trend, SGA, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. This is his PSA 10 Prism Silver. Over the last 90, down 30%. $1,100 card just 90 days ago, all the way down to $750. You can't tell me he is going to get pumped again. He is really good, just stuck on the Thunder. And one of two things are going to happen. Either it's going to be a rinse and repeat of this season. He plays extremely well. The team wants to tank. Whatever. They kind of make him disappear the last half of the season because he's winning too much. Or do the Thunder really want to keep him around? Yeah, he's young and he's really good, but is he on the same time frame of the 15-year-old kids in high school that they're scouting with their boatload of picks that they're going to draft over the next 3 to 5 years? Probably not. I think there's a good chance he gets dealt this upcoming season for a pile of stuff. It'll probably depend on how they come out and play and if they're competitive or not, and how the team looks. I love SGA as a talent, but I think there's a lot of upside there. If he would get dealt, and I just don't think it's completely out of the question, his stuff would really spike depending on where he went. A team would give up a lot for him. He is young. He is really good. And you have team control options there with restricted free agency and all that stuff with him. So we'll see where his stuff goes. I am intrigued by him on a dip as well. And once again, low pop, 450 on his PSA 10 Prism Silver. And his Prism base is actually kind of low pop too. It's one of those sneaky ones that I think is a little tougher grade than people realize. So that's all I have for you guys and girls today. More NBA market talk, a little deep dive there on a bunch of different random players, but pretty much pick whatever player you want. Other than the few getting the late spike the last couple days, some cards here and there. And I didn't even dive into select and optic hollows on a lot of these guys. I just kind of chose what were reasonably priced stuff. Like I went Tatum optic hollow instead of Tatum silver. Luka did PSA 10 and PSA 9 to kind of show both ends of the spectrum there, and even showed base. So, but the patterns are the same across all the different parallels and cards. But the second we start getting off-season news on these guys, I think there's about a 7 to 10 day window here where if there's someone you really want to get in on the bottom of, now's the chance. I'll be very curious to see the NBA market vibe at the National. I think there's sneakily going to be a lot of people looking to buy NBA at the National. I think there's going to be a small segment while a lot of people are chasing football and baseball. We'll see. Time will tell. Maybe I'm wrong and we look at this video in 30 days and it dropped another 30% and everyone's laughing at me. We'll find out. Don't know. Do your homework. Make some plays. That's all I got for you guys and girls. Like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff down below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.